Now that you know how to set up and turn on the Samson Expedition portable sound system, it's time to learn about some of the different types of devices and cords that can be used with the soundboard itself. Today, we're going to be talking about the difference between the three types of input cords for the soundboard: quarter-inch, XLR, and RCA auxiliary, as well as talk through the steps of plugging in, setting up, and using devices such as cell phones, computers, laptops, and iPods, microphones, and DI boxes. To start off with, let's explain the difference between the three different types of input cords that are available for the Samson Expedition portable sound system. The first type is that of a quarter-inch cable. Quarter-inch cables look just like an extra-large headphone plug. They plug directly into the soundboard below the XLR input here. Quarter-inch cords are a high-impedance, unbalanced signal, meaning that they run off of devices such as electric guitars, electric basses, and the like. These plug directly in, and you need to set the soundboard to what is called line mode. So if the button is pressed up, it's in microphone mode. The board won't pick up any sort of inline device that way. So if you plug in a guitar, simply switch the board to line mode, you're ready to turn up your volume and go. When you're plugging in any sort of device into the soundboard, be it XLR, RCA, or quarter-inch, you need to make sure you know how to balance the levels on the board itself. So say that this quarter-inch cord that is plugged into channel 1 of the soundboard is an electric guitar. I plugged in my electric guitar, I turn up my sound, and I still don't hear anything. Well, the balance of the sound is actually controlled between two different channels. The individual channel sound, which in this case is channel 1, as well as the master volume, all the way on this side of the board. So in order to hear the guitar, you'll have to turn up the guitar channel, which is channel 1 here, as well as turn up your master volume knob a little here. A good rule of thumb is to balance the turning up of the audio channels between both the master and the individual channel itself. If you turn your master all the way up, when you plug in other devices, they're going to seem extremely loud. Whereas if you turn your channel all the way up, then by comparison, your master output is going to be very, very quiet. Learning to balance these two audio levels between will successfully allow you to not reach your limiter portion on your LEDs on the side here. Again, remember, when sound is going through the board, you never want it to go above the +3 danger LED on the soundboard. If it goes up to the limiter, you run the risk of blowing out both the soundboard and the speakers. So since I'm done with this guitar, I'm going to turn down the master volume all the way, turn down the channel volume all the way, and unplug the cord itself. The second type of cord that we have is what's called an XLR cord. XLR cords are commonly used for microphones and can also be used with DI boxes, electric guitars, and electric basses. They have two ends. One end, which plugs into the device itself, for example, a microphone, and the other end, which plugs into the channel on the XLR portions, on which this board there are 4. So after you plug it in, you speak into your microphone, and again you hear nothing, because you need to turn up both your channel volume as well as the master volume. And then since we still have this on line mode from our guitar before, simply change it to microphone mode. One other thing to check is certain microphones, such as this Shure PG48, has a switch on it that turns the sound on and off. Make sure your microphone is switched on. Many people forget to do this and wonder why their microphone doesn't work. Now that we're done with the microphone, we'll go ahead and turn the channel volume down, turn the master volume down, and unplug the cord. The third type of input that we have is what's called an RCA auxiliary cord. It has two different types of ends. The first end is a red and white end that will plug into either channel 5/6 or 7/8 on the soundboard. Today, we're going to go ahead and plug it into channel 7/8. The other end of the cord is a simple headphone plug that can plug into laptops, cell phones, and iPods. I'm going to plug it into my cell phone. So now that we have this all hooked up, we can go ahead and start playing a song on my cell phone. I don't have speakers plugged in, so the way to tell that the device is running is actually by looking at the sound level LEDs that appear on the side of the soundboard. When doing this, again, notice we see no color. So we go ahead and we turn up our channel 7/8 channel and then turn up our master. Now, again, we still don't see any sound. Why is that? Because the soundboard isn't turned on. So go ahead and turn your levels down again, turn on the soundboard, notice the blue power LED, and turn up your individual channel as well as your master volume. After you've done both of those steps, you should notice that on the output of the board, you see power LEDs flashing accordingly with the level of volume that the song is outputting. Again, if you reach the limiter device, that means you run the risk of blowing out the soundboard. Now that we're done with this device, we can turn down our channel volume, as well as our master volume, turn the board off, and unplug the device. The other type of device that you can plug into a soundboard is what's called a DI box, or direct interface direct input box. This takes high impedance, unbalanced signals, such as those coming out of an electric guitar, and turns them into low impedance, balanced signals, more like what comes out of a microphone. This allows artists who are using musical instruments to have a longer chord with less distortion of their device, as well as give them a greater degree of control over the audio quality of their instrument. Some recording artists, when they visit campus, prefer using a DI box over directly plugging into a soundboard. So again, pretending that our 1/4 inch cable is connected to a guitar, an artist would plug their guitar into the input section of the DI box. Then you would take an XLR cord and plug it into the output portion of the DI box. It acts as an intermediary, so it'll go instrument on the 1/4 inch, DI box, XLR cord on the output, into the soundboard. And then, once you have the device itself plugged into the soundboard, you can treat it just as if it were a microphone or any other normal XLR device. So, now that we're done with this, we'll go ahead and unplug the devices, and you should be set to go. The last thing to remember with Samson Expedition portable sound systems is that you can use iPods or other Apple devices directly with the built-in dock here. The channel that they default to for audio output is the one that has a picture of an iPod on it, which is channel 7 or 8. This will both charge your device as well as put it in a mode where you can play the music automatically through the speakers on the soundboard. This is incredibly convenient for events where you need live music. Well, that about does it for this. Next, check out the video on how to use our lighting stands and light systems that Student Life has available for checkout.